Good morning.
Good morning. Being the new ones, they obviously got their own performers, but it's like
Green.
because out to them because they just
Good everybody. It doesn't seem to be gone.
emails and calls home to get.
We're gonna go right into it as we typically do, and we're going to start with Mr. Brad Moll, who's going to give us an update on the Regional Housing Trust Fund.
Good morning, everyone. Since we came to you for after our first 90 days, I just wanted to come back to you and give you an update on some of the activities of the advisory board with the Housing Trust Fund. Since those first 90 days, of course, we had our kind of coastal housing trust, but again, they decided on Beaufort Jasper Housing Trust. Some housing authority and get a better understanding of her voucher program. They also worked on developing a pipeline of potential projects to fund. We met private landowners from out of Hilton Head who's also interested in doing some affordable housing on their property. The advisory board also, as of yesterday's meeting, adopted their bylaws. There was an ad hoc committee formed among the board members. A few areas of consideration being set by the board for project evaluation is selecting or just one-time seed money. Again, he's looking, as far as a recurring fund, he's looking into Bill S-284, which if, again, as mentioned, if local municipalities decided to do so, available to answer any questions if you have any.
Anyone from the board have questions for Brad? Yes, ma'am.
The 11 developers that you talked to, how were they selected?
So those developers, those developers was basically those who reached out to us because they've heard from the initial launch that we had on the 11th, and then through some of the publicity through the Post and Courier and Island Packet publications or articles that they reached out to us, and as well as just attending some of these local meetings previously. They know that we already had the launch, and so those 11 developers reached out to us. Right.
Mayor, Brad, good update. We all have appointees to this committee, so I have two questions. At what point do you think, so LOCO's appointee, I know you and
representatives that you all have in place for each municipality. And we are keeping a list of those. We have an Excel sheet and folder specifically just for developers that we reach out to, making sure that we stay in contact, communication with them, helping them track their projects. And if also they've needed some type of technical assistance, kind of on the back end, help them basically get ready to apply and to look forward to our applying for our RFP that's going to come out. And as far as the representatives, as far as speaking to council, I know many of them expressed yesterday
That have a tab on their website for Soloco. They'll either go on the Soloco or we'll create the Housing Trust tab, or both. Okay? So
Good.
please send this to all jurisdictions.
Good.
If
I
you
sure
would,
will.
please.
And just to also mention.
suggest going to town managers.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah.
Good idea. Okay, any other questions for Brad? Any questions from the public? Yes, sir. What's your name, sir?
Dan Wood. I'm here on behalf of Lisa and Fred. Good morning.
Funds that's in place now, as you mentioned, that's in place now, as you mentioned, the $5 million. We don't have that, but the funds that's in place now, making sure that those are used as efficiently as possible.
Okay, thank you.
Transportation piece.
And then I'm going to cover the non-transportation related capital groups. We have the fully funded projects, the partially funded, and the unfunded. And draft draft several times, hadn't been approved yet. This is our current projection. This is what was, next slide. I put these together just because I thought it was very interesting to show. This first slide, you see our breakdown of all of our capital projects by department or type, and our far largest piece is transportation, which is why Jared's going to speak specifically about transportation. Transportation as well. And then you see our ARPA funding near the bottom. Most of our ARPA funding that's listed as capital needs are related to community transportation projects. And I'll let you flip through the remainder just really slowly on the unfundeds. And
Committee did was a good work product that I think checked the boxes as a region. There was projects there specific to complete some of the old projects that we have on the 18 sales tax side. So this is kind of our lineup based off the work product from the TAC committee. So first one is SC 170 near term, and I guess this one takes exception. This one wasn't specifically called out with this, just within the existing footprint that we have. One thing special is we were able to coordinate with DOT. So DOT had a paving project coming up, but it was a year after when we would do this project. So we've been able to coordinate the time schedules. And so we will, in addition to research other, in the interest of time and getting projects built, that's all connected in that one triangle project. So we started with the investment funds and kicked off a design scope and fee with the engineers that we have on our on-call list on all three of those, the triangle project, SC 46 improvements, and Reimagine Rebo improvements. SC 46 is going to look at the opportunity if we need to widen from Jasper County up to the traffic circle. We'll definitely 100% number of 24 that we can really make a difference and start putting some orange barrels on the road. So this would be any specific intersections, any turn lanes, anything that really doesn't need a lot of permitting, only coordination with DOT. So any quick hit fixes is what we're, yep.
You initially said boundary to Woods Bridge.
Oh, Woods, yeah. that was my bad. The Bell Bridge at Paris Island, okay. That is the termini. Yep.
Okay, thank you. And you did say that.
Here's a permit on Bluffton Road. You can click on it, at least get some idea what's going on. And I didn't know if that was in the works, or I think it'd be good for this group to know.
Yeah, it's we developed that application internally through our GIS department. It's my understanding that we're testing it right now, so it should be out available to the public within the next 2 weeks. So as soon as it is out, I will send out a notification to all the town managers so that they are aware to it with a link of how to get there.
Thank you. Huh? Thank you. Oh, I do? Thank you. I guess Fred's not sure.
Okay, thank you. And again, there's a lot of information there, so I encourage everybody who has interest to, get the details on the website.
We're $4.5 million total. Again, it addresses our goals of protecting the May River, reducing flooding, and also getting access to public sewer. So some of the ones we have going on is Buckeye and Simmonsville neighborhood. We're in our final phase of that. That's been one that has been a lot harder than we anticipated. Going back, getting that one out to bid and trying to move it forward and finalize it. We have a sewer connection program where we can assist those throughout the community with making connection into sewer that currently exist. And they can apply and they can get grant funding up to, on average, 50-75% of their total cost to make that connection. Working in historic district sewer, we actually have it on the agenda for March to award phase 2 and 3. We've got 5 phases or 6 phases for that, so we're moving forward with 2 and 3 right now to continue to transfer septic tanks around the May River to protect it and move them out of Old Town onto sewer. We're working with the county, BJWSA right now to work through a IGA. We're designing Pritchard Street right now, and again, one of the things we're looking at is long-term other projects that we need to bring in and make master plans or look at taking areas that are impervious and making them pervious. So we have several areas we're working on that right now. So just a couple pictures. Like I said, here's the Bridge Street streetscape. That's where it was blocked off this morning, had traffic backed up. And then the Buck Island culvert replacement. That was when it was still in process, being worked on. That's now done. All we're doing is waiting to resurface it, and it'll be complete. So, roads and streetscapes. A lot of these that we're doing now are related to more pedestrian access and trying to improve safety, ADA requirements, and connectivity. So you can see our budget there is about $3 million. Again, you might see some of these overlap because as part of the streetscape projects, we're putting in sidewalks, which didn't currently exist, to improve pedestrian safety. We're designing Calhoun Street, and also going on for probably a decade, it's ghost roads, where we have these roads that have existed, no title to it, so we're working to clarify all of those so we can make improvements, begin maintaining those, and make sure that we can keep those up to standards. So this is Calhoun Street streetscape. It's kind of just to show the installation of sidewalks, pedestrian safety enhancements. Not final design, just kind of shows pictures of what we're looking at. Next is public building and facilities. So we've got a little over 1.8 in there right now, and this is to improve our day-to-day action and be able to reflect on their mental health. And if you haven't been down there to look at it, it's neat. They've got it, again, about 6 feet off the ground with them on the design. We're continuing to have conversations with council so we can get this out of design and move it into the finals. If you go down May River, it's a little piece of property that was turned over to the town. We created a little pocket park right near Stock Farm, across from area where people rent and have events. Oscar Frazier Park, we're doing some hardscape right around where we're at here. We're also looking long-term at potentially some athletic courts on across the other side of the park, have conversations on council with the design on that. And we're also looking at the potential of putting a splash pad over here next to the restroom. So we're moving forward with some of those designs as well. And the New River Linear Trail, a whole lot of projects we have going on. We have a lot that are in process right now. Our department's been working. Council's awarded a lot over the last few months to the point that we keep going back and they keep saying we're spending a good bit of money, but we're trying to get a lot of these projects moving forward. So I can answer any questions on anything that's in there or that y'all may have.
Any questions from the board?
Love to borrow from each other.
Okay. And that is one of the reasons why Soloco is such a wonderful organization, because it gives us all an opportunity to learn from each other. Next, we have the City of Hardeeville, and Mr. Matt Davis, the Deputy City Manager, is going to get mic'd up.
All right, thank you. It's good to be here this morning. Go ahead. So obviously, Hardeeville's growing like the entire region. We're growing exceptionally fast right now. But anyway, just to get into a couple of the projects that we're working on, this is a great partnership we have right now with Jasper County down in the Riverport area of US 17. We really needed a new communications tower, emergency communication. Big group with the triangle project. You know, everything's going to be done in such a manner that the only thing that should have to be removed is the signals itself. They'll have to be, taken out. But that's a small portion of that overall project. So we won't be pouring good money after bad. So that's good. A critical need we have is more space at our police department. They currently share a building with our municipal court. SLED has mandated that we have a better vault for evidence vault. The Municipal Hub or Veterans Park, this is a big, ambitious project that I think is really critical to Hardeeville's downtown. We own a lot of property, have a lot of buildings at Main Street and Martin Street. We have our fire headquarters, our police municipal court. We have our large fire station, Fire Station 81. We have the old City Hall, which is where the Jasper Chamber of Commerce is now. We have our library. So we did a master plan for all that, and the result, there'll be another fire station in that area as well, but this will satisfy that. Okay. And then our Commerce Road, we have a Commerce Park on the north side. And
I don't mean that to be.
All right, in the interest of time, we're going to have to blast through this pretty fast to do that for us. I'll give you a good example of one that they're doing right now as we speak. So our capital projects are divided into only two sections. They're either facilities or they are roads. In the last 6 months, we have $8.83 million in capital projects that have been initiated. Now, the overall capital project is $85.5 million. Here's a project summary of the 11 projects that MBCon and staff put together initially. And the idea here is to select from among these projects the ones that are funded and ready to go, and then to replace them as they are constructed with additional projects. But also, we want to be able to give the county council a list of projects that we feel are pending, or at least should be pending, and then let them make the decision. You will see a few of these projects that I'll go into a little bit of detail on, but let me give you another example. Look at number 11, the fire rescue station at Coosawhatchee. That station is an example of one that was built during the time when we could depend upon volunteer firefighters, especially in the rural areas, whether it be for a county or whether it be for a city. That day is gone. That's a romantic ideal that is now passed us by. We can no longer get guys or ladies to leave the hardware store and go down to fight a fire. The second thing is that volunteer firefighters have to have their underway. We have crews out there right now turning dirt. We'll show you a few pictures. Underway, we have crews out there right now turning dirt. We'll show you a few pictures later on. That's a $5 million project, and the funding for that is $2.5 million that came from the South Carolina Department of Commerce. As you may remember, Commerce selected 14 counties, especially in rural areas of South Carolina, as well as for the fuel trucks. The farmers market is in bid, $800,000 project, and that still won't complete everything that we want to provide for it. I'll go into a little bit of detail later on. The coroner's office, I think you've all probably heard of the circumstances with the new coroner coming in, and he was unhappy with the accommodations, and that was, it is not current in that respect. We're also taking you can't see them in this photograph, but we're removing the fans and adding big ass fans. Now, listen to me. Listen to me, that's a brand name. Yeah, that company made their bones by doing airport hangar fans. It's more fitting for what it is that he needs to do, but we can't do that just yet. And $33,000 will do very little to help him. But in the meantime, that's the plan. The Pratt Memorial Library, it's the only library in the Allendale, Hampton, Jasper system that has not been completely renovated. Summertime rains, we get 2 inches of standing water in there because there's only one drop inlet that provides the drainage, but it stays full of leaves. For capital improvement program. Here's Hardeeville's list of 462 and SC 170 are major arteries in Jasper, and they're just at capacity, they're obsolete, and they're going to have to be improved. So when people come down from the north on I-95, they get off on 462 and take that shortcut to get to Bluffton and to get to Hilton Head. And that thing becomes a racetrack. It's dangerous in the daytime, it's dangerous at night. So it's very difficult to navigate it, and it's going to have to be improved. The town of Ridgeland, here are the improvements that they would like to make. Most of these improvements are either capacity and or geometric intersection improvements. And then here is Jasper County at large. Okay, 1 cent sales tax program. 21.33 million of those dollars are dedicated to these projects. We talked about exit 3, the new interchange, a little while ago. So that's $13,500,000 dedicated to that particular project. And then you can see some of the other projects that will be paid for with this penny sales tax program.
Okay, thank you, Danny. And March, you have requested time.
Yes, sir.
And
Yes,
and
sir.
I'll coordinate that topic with you. We coordinate that topic with you. We've reserved March already for that. Also,
way over time, but the hate crimes bill at the House, and thanks to Mayor Solka's leadership, put it on our agenda a few months ago. This will probably hit the Senate floor within the next month if they can get it on the calendar. So the time is right now for folks. And I want to thank the other mayors and municipal staffs for getting the